neighborhood. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you, so let's make the most of this beautiful day. And since we're together, might as well say, would you be mine? Would you be mine? Would you be my neighbor? Would you please? Could you please? Please would you be my neighbor? Hey there, neighbors. So nice that you two all be able to join me here. Can you guess what I have in this here tickle trunk? No, it's not drugs. What I have in here is a book. A storybook. Now, I love stories. I love hearing them. I love reading them. But most of all, I love sharing them. Now, would you like to hear a story? Well, then, let's head on over to the land of make-believe. Hey, normal voice. So, I've written a story here for everybody, and I'd like to share it with you. And it's a twist on a classic. Everybody knows the story of Little Red Riding Hood. So I thought, that's a little old-fashioned. So what if we updated it? What if it was Little Red Modern Hood for 2017? So this, of course, is Little Red Modern Hood. Once upon a time, there was a small girl who was called Little Red Modern Hood. Everybody called her this because she always wore a red hoodie that she got from Justin Bieber's 2016 Purpose World Tour. One day, Little Red Modern Hood's mother came to her and said, I just got off the phone with your grandmother. She's very sick. I put her symptoms into WebMD, and she either has the flu or the Black Plague. Her mother handed her a basket and said, please take this basket full of gluten-free bread to your grandmother. I also put in some avocados because I read online that those can cure anything. Now, normally Little Red Modern Hood wouldn't do anything that her mother asked because she was an entitled millennial. But today she agreed because she knew that she could play Pokemon Go on the way. So Little Red left her house and walked into the woods carrying a basket and catching many Pokemon along the way. While on her walk, she became a little bit bored and decided to sing a song she had learned as a small girl. To the window! To the wall! To the sweat dripping down my balls! Oh. But at that exact moment, she was interrupted by the rustling in a nearby bush. She turned to look, and out popped a creature that wasn't a Pokemon. It was a wolf. What are you doing here? Asked the wolf. Little girls should not be wandering in the woods alone. That's very sexist, said Little Red Riding Hood. If they want to, just like boys can. Forgive me, said the wolf. I never learned proper manners, you see. I was raised by wolves. He paused and eyed up the small girl in the basket. What is that you're carrying? He asked. I'm going to my grandmother's house, she said. She's very sick with the flu and or plague. I'm bringing her this basket of superfoods to help her cleanse. And I simply must be going. And with that, Little Red Modern Hood set off again to deliver the basket to her grandmother. The wolf thought to himself, if I can beat her there, I'll eat her grandmother, and then I'll eat her too when she arrives. The wolf took a shortcut through the woods, until he arrived at the local retirement home. He entered the building and asked one of the nurses to take him to Grandma Modernhood. The nurse said she was participating in a shuffleboard tournament and he would have to wait. So he went to her room and waited, and once she got back, he leapt out from behind the door and swallowed her whole. Then the wolf dressed up in her pink nightgown and nightcap because he did not care about gendered clothing. And then he silently crept into the bed and waited for Little Red Modernhood. Meanwhile, Little Red was lost in the woods because her phone had no signal and she couldn't use Google Maps. She wandered through the forest until she came across a large group of people who were holding signs and all chanting. "Hello, what are you all doing out here?" she asked. "We're protesting," said one man. "They're trying to build an oil pipeline through this beautiful forest." "Well, that sounds bad," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Or good, depending on which side of the political spectrum you fall." She paused. "Do you know the way to my grandmother's house?" "Well, yes, there's a retirement home down that way," said one of the protesters. So she thanked them for their help and continued along the road until she found the retirement home. Little Red Modernhood stepped inside and went straight to her grandmother's room, but in the bed was sitting a very strange-looking grandma. "Grandma, you look different," said Little Red. "Oh, your grandma's just a bit sick," said the wolf. "And my grandma, what big eyes you have," said Little Red. "Oh, the better to see you with, my dear," said the wolf. "And my grandma, what big ears you have." "Oh, the better to hear you with, my dear," said the wolf. "And my grandma, what a big nose you have." The wolf leapt up. "Stop body shaming me." He tore off his disguise. "You're the wolf from earlier," said Little Red. "Yes," said the wolf. "I've eaten your grandmother, and now I'm going to eat you too." "No," said Little Red. And the wolf leapt at her, but she countered him and ducked out of the way because Little Red had taken self-defense classes and knew how to ward off unwanted advances. The wolf turned and swiped a claw, but she parried him and pushed him back. And then from the corner of her eye, she saw a figure in the doorway. It was a man with a beard and a toque and a flannel jacket. It was a woodsman. "Help me, woodsman," she cried out. "Woodsman," said the man. "I'm not a woodsman, I'm a hipster." "And I'm only here because I thought this was a Starbucks." And Little Red could tell by the thick frame glasses he was wearing and his one earring that he was telling the truth. Luckily, the hipster had provided just enough of a distraction for Little Red to catch the wolf off guard, deliver a roundhouse kick to the snout, and knock him down to the floor. "No means no," she shouted. The wolf lay motionless on the floor, then let out a massive burp, and out came Grandma all in one piece. "Grandma," exclaimed Little Red, "you're all right." She hugged her grandma. "What's going on here?" asked a new voice. Little Red looked again at the door. It was a park ranger. "This wolf attacked me and my grandma, so I knocked him out cold," said Little Red. "Well, if that's the case, then you're in a lot of trouble, young missy," said the ranger. "That wolf happens to be an endangered species." And so, the wolf was taken away for rehabilitation and eventually released into Yellowstone National Park to help rebalance the ecosystem. Grandma, because she had been eaten by the wolf, had to get 35 rabies shots. And Little Red Modernhood, she was charged $50,000 for harming an endangered species. And they all lived reasonably well for a while. The end.